Greetings, fans, friends, and family. Your Crafty Diva Cat here with another Works in Progress video. This one is the Dimensions Tuscan Greeting. Now, from an earlier video you saw me doing the Tuscan Sunflower for my entryway, and I mentioned that there was another Tuscan kit from Dimensions that sort of matched this one, and that is this one right here. Of course, this one says the Edmonds, and ours will have our name on it when it's complete. But it's just a cute little farmhouse with a name and a greeting. And it is really, really quick, amazingly quick to work up, because I have been working on this for less than a week, and I have made a ton of progress. I have the top finished, and the bottom part is about halfway done. And of course this has the half cross stitches done in it, although it's a little difficult to see. It just is quite light, as you can see there. So I just have to put the lettering over the top. And you'll notice that I did do the back stitching on the top before I finished the bottom. And this is one of my tricks for not getting too bored with the project. Now, I just finished a really huge project for a Christmas present, and it didn't have a lot of backstitching. But when I'm doing a project that has a lot of backstitching, I like to backstitch an area as I finish it, as opposed to waiting until I finished all the cross stitches and then doing all the backstitching. And the reason for that is that it's my least favorite part, is doing the backstitching, but it really pulls everything together and makes the project look finished. And you can get a lot of satisfaction out of just seeing a certain area that's finished. So I kind of fly against the rules, and I start doing my backstitching as soon as I've finished an area, as soon as I've finished an area where I can do a whole bunch of backstitching in. It looks really lovely, it spurs you on to finish the rest, and then you're not stuck with doing a whole bunch of outlining at the end, which frustrates me because I finished all my cross stitching and I want to be done and get ready to hang it on the wall, and I have all this tedious back stitching to do, especially if there's a lot of French knots, because I really don't like doing French knots. And there's quite a few French knots in all the little olive branches on this design, as you can see on the top there and along the bottom. So there's more that go on either side of the name here, as you can see, for the finished project. So I wanted to start getting those done as soon as I finished the areas, so I didn't have that frustrating part at the end. So this is another great kit from Dimensions, and I can't say enough about how much I love their two-colored charts. It makes it much easier to follow. Again, I don't feel the need to mark this one up with a highlighter because it is in two colors, which makes it much easier to figure out where you're at and what stitches you have done. And again, they have the fantastic floss organizer that I just absolutely love, because it keeps all of your kit floss in order. And if you're used to working out of your needlework box like I am, where you can have all your nice little thread bobbins in order, sometimes a kit can be very frustrating because you're just given a mass of threads that you have to separate out yourself. It can be very difficult to figure out which color is supposed to be light yellow and which color is supposed to be medium light yellow and which color is supposed to be light mustard, because they all look the same. And so this just takes all of that stress out of doing a kit and lets you get to the fun part that much faster, which I really, really love. So far, this kit has been a real joy. And like I said, it's got a ton of half cross stitch, which of course works up twice as fast as full cross stitch. And it still looks quite lovely and full. You do have to pay attention to the thread number of strands you're using for every stitch, because it does vary from 1 to 2 to 4. And so there's some half stitches that are done with 4, and there's some full cross stitches that are done with 1 or 2, and there's some half cross stitches that are done with 1 or 2. So you really have to pay attention to the little number in parentheses on the pattern that tells you how many strands to use. And what makes it extra confusing is that in some cases, like in the green, you're doing cross stitches for one symbol with one strand, and for another symbol with 2 strands. And with the blue, you're doing half cross stitches with 2 strands for one symbol, and half cross stitches with 4 for another symbol. So you kind of really have to keep an eye on what number you're using for what symbol, which I found myself having to redo a little bit of the sky because I thought I was using the right color, and I was, but I was using the wrong number of strands for that particular symbol. So don't trust your memory. Check the chart every time. But other than that, I think this is going to turn out to be a beautiful little piece for our entryway. I bought a second brushed pewter frame to put this in, just like the sunflower one. And once I get it all finished, I'll show it to you in its frame, and hopefully maybe even hanging up next to its neighbor in our entryway. So for more tips, tricks, and craft projects for cross stitch and other crafts, be sure to check out Crafty Diva Cat on Facebook and on Twitter. As always, thanks for watching and happy crafting.